Welcome, everyone, to the TG Sports Podcast. This is your host, Tyrone Guidry. Today, we are recapping week 3 of the college football season. We will start in the SEC, where top-ranked Georgia narrowly escaped the very game and upset mighty Kentucky team 13-12. This was a hard-fought defensive struggle. Georgia got a 3-yard go-ahead fourth-quarter touchdown run from Branson Robinson, the only touchdown in the game. Kentucky with 4 clutch field goals from kicker Alex Raynor. Very unimpressive lethargic performance for the Bulldogs. After the game, Kirby Smart talked about resilience and never flinching, which was coach speak in my opinion. He did credit Kentucky for their toughness, which was deserved. They played hard and never quit. Okay, let's move on. Number 2, Texas beat UTSA 56-7, despite starting quarterback Quinn Ewers going down in the first half with an injury. Arch Manning came off the bench to throw for 223 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also had a 67-yard rushing touchdown. I was very impressed with Arch. Despite being the backup, it seems like he's keeping himself ready. That's a good sign. Doesn't look like Ewers will be out long. Maybe he'll only miss 1 game. He'll also remain the starter when he returns, because it's well deserved. Number 4, Alabama got 3 touchdown passes and 2 touchdown runs from Jalen Milroe in a 42-10 victory over Wisconsin. This was the worst home loss for the Badgers since 2008. They also lost starting quarterback Tyler Van Dyke in this one. He was seen in the second half on the sideline with crutches. Too many mistakes for the Badgers to have any realistic chance of winning this game. Turnovers and missed field goals were too much to overcome. Number 5, Ole Miss beat Wake Forest 40-6. Henry Parrish led the way on the ground for the Rebels with 148 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart had 377 passing yards and 2 touchdowns in the win. The Rebels have been very impressive early on this season. Number 6, Missouri beat number 24, Boston College 27-21. Brady Cook passed for a touchdown and ran for another in the win. Nate Noel rushed for 121 yards for the 3-0 Tigers. Missouri trailed 14-3 in the second quarter before mounting the comeback win. They will need more discipline and composure as they start SEC play. 8 penalties for 78 yards, including 2 personal fouls and 2 unsportsmanlike penalties, is way too much to overcome against better competition. Number 7, Tennessee destroyed Kent 71-0. Not much to say about this one, as this game was almost over before it started. Tennessee led 65-0 at halftime. They got 101 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns from Dylan Sampson in the first half alone. Deshaun Bishop also added 120 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. Tennessee has still not given up a touchdown this season. Number 9, Oregon beat rival Oregon State 49-14. Dylan Gabriel threw for 291 yards and 2 touchdowns and ran for 64 yards and another score in the win. Jordan James had 86 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns as the Ducks improved to 3-0 in their first season in the Big Ten. Number 10, Miami shuts out Ball State 62-0. Cam Ward was dominant again, throwing for 346 yards and 5 touchdowns before sitting early in the second half. Miami outgained Ball State 750-115, setting a school record for yards in a game. Ward has now started the season with 3 straight 300-yard passing games. Xavier Restrepo led the receiving charge with 2 touchdown catches. Number 12, Utah beat Utah State 38-21 without starting quarterback Cam Rising. Isaac Wilson, in his first career start, had 239 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. Number 13, Oklahoma State beat Tulsa 45-10. Alan Bowman matched his career high with 5 touchdown passes. DeJon Stringling caught 7 passes for 174 yards and 2 touchdowns. Number 14, Kansas State beat number 20, Arizona 31-7. Avery Johnson threw 2 touchdown passes, and Dylan Edwards returned the punt 71 yards for a score in the win. The loss ended Arizona's 9-game winning streak, which was the longest in the nation. Number 15, Oklahoma beat Tulane 34-19. Jackson Arnold ran for 2 touchdowns and threw for another. The Sooners have yet to surpass 200 yards passing in a game so far, and now SEC conference play starts with the Vols coming to town. Number 16, LSU escaped a tough game at South Carolina 36-33. Garrett Nussmeier directed a final touchdown drive with a little over a minute left as the Tigers came back from a 17-0 deficit to win it. Nussmeier finished with 285 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Caden Durham ran for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Tigers. Number 17, Michigan beat Arkansas State 28-18. The defending champs have a major problem at quarterback. 3 interceptions by quarterback Davis Warren were overcome by a career-high 153 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns from Khalil Mullins. Number 18, Notre Dame beat Purdue 66-7. The Irish collected 278 of its 372 yards rushing in the first half. Quarterback Riley Leonard had 100 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns, while Jeremiah Love had 109 yards and a score. And number 23, Nebraska beat Northern Iowa 34-3. Dylan Raiola passed for 247 yards and 2 touchdowns in this one. Now I'll give you my new rankings. There's a new number 1 in my top 12, and it's Texas. Number 2 is Georgia. Number 3 is Ohio State. Number 4 is Alabama. Number 5 is Ole Miss. Number 6 is Tennessee. Number 7 is Miami. Number 8 is Penn State. Number 9 is Oregon. Number 10 is Missouri. Number 11 is USC. And number 12 is Utah. On to my playoff rankings. I have Texas at number 1. Number 2 is Ohio State. Number 3 is Miami. Number 4 is Utah. Number 5 is Georgia. Number 6 is Alabama. Number 7 is Ole Miss. Number 8 is Tennessee. Number 9 is Penn State. Number 10 is Oregon. Number 11 is Missouri. And number 12 is USC. The most impressive teams I'm seeing right now are Texas, Tennessee, and surprisingly, Miami. Starting next week, I'll be giving you my top 5 Heisman candidates also, now that we've had a few weeks to accumulate some numbers. Thank you, everyone, for listening. This has been the TG Sports Podcast. Remember to like and subscribe. Let's keep growing the show. God bless.